Since the turn of the 21st century, politics in the United States has become increasingly divided. More and more people are identifying with what are considered extreme ideologies. But why are we seeing this trend? In 2014, a Pew Research poll showed that 92% of Republicans are more conservative than the median Democrat, and 94% of Democrats are more liberal than the median Republican. Compare this to only 20 years ago. This shows that voters in both parties are moving further and further from the center, and now, more than ever, each party is representing a sole ideology. The Democrats are nearly all liberal, and the Republicans are nearly all conservative. While the average American may be moving further from the center of the political spectrum, why are some on the absolute extremes? The 2016 presidential election saw increased attention for groups such as neo-Nazis and far-left anarchists. We wanted to try and understand why, so we dialed the local number for the Ku Klux Klan with hopes of talking with a representative. Instead, we got this rather disturbing voicemail.
Greetings, white brothers and sisters. You've just reached the loyal white knights of the Ku Klux Klan. If you're interested in joining the Klan, leave your name, area code, and phone number, and we'll get back to you. Always remember, if it ain't white, it ain't right. White power.
Alright, so we're at the University of North Florida where a Black Lives Matter rally is taking place. And we hope to find people from both sides of the spectrum in order to shed lights on their political beliefs. About 20 minutes into the protest, we met John, a Green Party activist who agreed to sit and talk with us about political polarization and what goes on inside the minds of extremists.
I grew up a racist because the environment I grew up in an all-white town. The N-word was common, and the talk about the black people and all that stuff, it was ingrained in me at a young age. I learned through military, getting out of that environment, I learned differently. Many people have never learned differently. That programming at a young age is still in them, and it's been fed by other medias and other people agreeing with them and supporting them. That's why I think it gets so strong.
Because I'm white, racist, sexist, and I hate all colors of people, right? Because I'm a white Republican, right? Right?
If we don't get it, 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 if we don't get it.
Someone who grew up in a household that promoted racism will often mimic that attitude later in life, while someone who is taught more tolerant views will often turn out more accepting. But of course, this isn't always the case. Someone could grow up in one of these environments and turn out completely different from what you'd expect. If these environments marginalize the individual, or if they're in a period of youthful rebellion, they might choose a thought process that went against their surroundings as a way to lash out. These individuals can be more adamant in their views and less willing to change because that's all they have, and society treats them as outcasts. Both sides are extremely steeped in emotion, and politics have turned into an us versus them argument. Each side believes they were ultimately correct. Arguments have turned into who can scream the loudest, rather than who can provide the most reason and facts to back up their consensus. While extremism carries a very negative connotation today, it's not inherently bad nor good. According to Psychology Today, opposing sides will label each other as mentally ill in order to discredit and frame them as extremists. In 2014, another research poll showed 27% of Democratic respondents viewed the Republican Party as a threat to the nation. In the same poll, 36% of Republicans saw the Democratic Party the same way, with a little under half, 43%, viewing them very unfavorably. It's perfectly fine and natural to have differing opinions. In fact, that's what makes the United States so great. But we need to remember to not let those differences divide us into two opposing sides. We are all Americans, and we should respect each other's beliefs despite our own. Subscribe to D.L.G Studios, check out Spinnaker Television for future episodes, and comment below what you'd like us to discuss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on theSTEM. Okay, come on.
Okay, imagine this. If you break the law,
Everyone, watch
the
theSTEM.
You go to jail.